Always a pleasure to spend time with Gerald Celente, one of the busiest men easily on the planet. Always being asked for his opinion, his views, but if you want the full story, click on Gerald's name and subscribe to the Trends Research Journal. Probably the hottest publication you can get. It's all there. It's like a roadmap of tomorrow. There was a movie once called Tomorrow's Newspaper or something like that, where a guy was actually able to get he'd go out to pick up his paper, and it was the next day's newspaper. So he started playing the ponies, and he did real well. Anyway, it was an old movie. There were some good old movies. Here's more on this gun thing. I sent you the story, Gerald.
Oh, thanks.
The Federal National Instant Criminal Background Check System database statistics show there were more than 3.7 million background checks during the first 3 months of this year. That's January, February, March, compared to about 8 million annually not even a decade ago. That's a lot, almost 4 million in the first quarter. That's pushing 12 million on the year, according to documentation assembled by ammoland.com. It's a good source. That's not individual guns, by the way. Each one of these are background checks. The organization pointed that out clearly. In other words, if a purchaser obtains 2, 3, or even 4 guns at a time, there's only one background check. But here's the kicker. Americans also bought 1 billion, that's a B, 529,635,000 rounds of ammunition in just the month of December last year, Gerald.
Wow.
That's billion. 1.5 billion rounds of ammo Americans bought in 1 month last year. So, now, when people talk about this forced vaccination, you're going to go to somebody's home and say, you're going to roll up your sleeve, there are going to be a lot of dead people all over the place. The Americans aren't going to take that. And this is the portion, I don't know how big it is, but when Americans lose everything, they lose it, as you've said. I don't know where that point is, but there are a lot of folks right now who have already decided that they've lost it, and they're not going to deal with it. If someone tries to force something on them, or their kids like a shot, they're not going to deal with it. And bless them all. It's your body, folks. You don't have to. You don't want to say no. Just do what Nancy Reagan said.
Well, I want to say that I'm a firm believer and supporter of the Second Amendment rights, and I own firearm myself, and I buy them, and I'm a close combat martial artist. For me, it's not to fight the government, it's to fight these crazy people that are whacked out on drugs that we've never dreamed of, have no future, have had no past, and have no present. And that's the ones that to us, this is where we're very serious about this, is where billions of dollars need to be spent to get these kids off the streets, out of the ghettos, onto farms, doing productive things, giving them a future, finding the talents that they have, anything. And I was a kid growing up in the Bronx and Yonkers, there was CYOs, a Catholic youth organization, YMCAs, PBAs. They were building swimming pools. The kids were being pulled off the streets and given a positive direction.
You're not put in juvenile youth authorities or prison and to be raped and to taught how to really be criminals.
So the Cheney and the rest of these people who have Halliburtons and the rest of them could be making money in the prison industrial complex.
Right. Yep. They should be doing public service work. This whole idea of prisons is absurd.
Oh, it's absurd. And you know, here's something else, Jeff, that I'd like to mention today on the 8th anniversary of the war in Afghanistan, and that there is such a low level of protest in this country about the illegal wars that the United States is fighting, and to make us Al-Qaeda free. And this nation is never going to move forward until their morality is restored. And all I heard for years was that the reason we were invading Iraq was because Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda. We know that that is false. Who knew what when should be found out. If I could get arrested for any kind of minor violation, as all the rest of us, jaywalkers, drinking, having 2 drinks or whatever, and being treated like a criminal, I think that the Bushes and the Cheneys should be asked by a jury of their peers and by an open court system as to who knew what when, and why are we at war.
And then they should be waterboarded if they refuse to answer the question.
Absolutely. Because after all, it's not torture, it's only enhanced, what is that? Enhanced is a name they give it.
Well, they probably have an acronym for it, too. Here's the deal, folks. On the basis of what Gerald told you, and you all know this already, but the WMD and the Al-Qaeda links were absolute fiction, total fraud. And what happened? We killed at least 1.5 million human beings. They're dead, folks. They're gone. It's not like hit the reset button on the Xbox. They're dead. They're gone. Their country is absolutely destroyed. It's finished. It'll take decades to rebuild that country. And even if you do rebuild it, you're rebuilding it upon sands that are full of uranium, radioactivity that will never go away. We literally annihilated a country. Literally. And we're doing the same thing in Afghanistan. I have friends from Afghanistan, Gerald. 2 to 3 million Afghan dead in 8 years is a very realistic figure, according to them. And they're not pushing anything. They're telling me straight. So we've killed 1.5 million since Junior invaded Iraq. In the last 8 years, 2 to 3 million Afghanis. Let's take it on the conservative. 2 plus 1.5 is 3.5. Bush Sr. killed 600,000. Let's make it 4. Under the 8 years of the Clintons, we had the no-fly zone and the embargo. Another 1 to 2 million died there, so we got an easy 5 million. Almost 6. Holocaust. We did it. The United States of America, since Bush 41, has absolutely destroyed, killed, murdered, slaughtered, liquidated probably 6 to 8 million people in that part of the world. And do you think when we eventually get our comeuppance that most of the world will not cheer and say, how does it feel, Americans? Oh, they don't hate us, but they hate what this country has become because we have allowed it. We've permitted it to become the most vile, ruthless killing machine on the planet. Be right back.